Hey everyone, how are you guys doing? It's the holidays. Kuma! Kuma! Konnichiwa! Say hi! Chanto aisatsu shite! Come! No. So to get on to this blog, I really wanted to do this because they often ask me, or a question that I'm often asked is, how do you help your kids stay motivated all the time? And this is my answer, and it is the goal setting routine that I set up. I also set goals for myself. As a teacher, I set goals per level, and if a student is having a hard time, I usually talk to them and ask them how they're doing, and I make it a habit to always check up on my students, especially those who feel unmotivated to work, because it is so frustrating for sure to be at home. And it's easy to be frustrated at home because, you know, you don't get motivated when something doesn't challenge you. Am I right? Usually you get motivation when, a lot of times, it's when something is challenging you, right? And when something gets boring, you stop working on it. But I want to really point out that work has to be consistent, and the moment you stop, things go away also. So it's very important to just continue going regardless of, I guess, that feeling, that boring feeling or that routinal feeling. In the end, it will make you also feel rewarded to keep on going. But this is the goal setting routine that I want to set out. So when you want to drop that thing and start focusing on something else in your ballet, so yeah, anyway, so these are my tips because you just want to get me to get to that. So I'm going to talk about how I set it up for my kids, and then I'm going to talk about scheduling. So I'm going to talk about two different things, but I feel like you can benefit from one or both. Again, you don't have to do this all the time. I feel like just writing them down, or the fact that you get your pen and you get a piece of paper, even just like this, because I like to write on pieces of scrap paper. And I do have a new notebook which I can also write on because I used up all my 7 notebooks of the year. But as a teacher also, I want to show you, I keep notes on all my kids, especially those. I'm going to show you my one-on-one notebook. I have a page for each of my one-on-one students. So this one's Chloe. I write down my notes about them. And then like some here on mixed pages. One is my other student, Jayla. So I write down my observations and what we can continue working on. It's so important for me to discuss it to them also, so that they know that I'm at this point and I want you to kind of keep improving on that thing. Okay. So for goal setting, let's set some dance goals. Yay! Because it's going to be 2021 and I'm pretty sure that you're all just stuck at home and we are unsure about things. Let me tell you something about 2020. Regardless of if you felt like you improved or didn't improve or feel like you could have done better, it's done. Leave it to 2020. It's almost 2021. Let's move on and let's just move forward. The first step to always moving or to getting yourself motivated is just to doing, or to forcing yourself to doing something consistently. And it always helps to have a very consistent schedule or a ballet schedule. So anyway, before that, let's set some goals. I want also for you to note that because it's the pandemic and we can't exactly set goals towards a lot of things because we don't know or we're unsure about things, I think the best thing you can do is to look forward. Set goals towards something that you feel like might happen in the future. For example, maybe after the pandemic ends, all of a sudden there's a competition open, or maybe like your school's doing a presentation. Wouldn't you want to be in a shape that you're able to, dance mentally and physically ready? So I would suggest that you use this time, especially maybe your studios are having time off, just use this time to rest, use this time to regain focus, and then we can just go back to working, you know. So with that being said, I'm going to talk about your goals. Usually when I ask my kids to separate goals, I ask them to separate it into different things, which are your short and your long-term goals. So your short-term goals usually happen for me monthly. So I don't like weekly things because things aren't like this. And I've said this before, things don't happen or come out overnight. Your turnout, your pointed toes, your turns, they don't happen magically or instantaneously. So learning them, achieving them, and even growing from them, they happen through years of training and years of doing it. But again, you set monthly goals for them. For example, single turns for this month, clean single turns. Next month, I'll try to attempt doubles or 1.5. I don't know. Work with your teacher on them, but I feel like setting goals like this makes you feel really good about how you're improving. This is also to kind of strengthen my belief of how it's okay to work slow. You know how sometimes you'd see a little kid and then they do doubles, and okay, they can do doubles, but then it's not exactly a clean double, and then it's like they just force themselves to keep on doing doubles because they think that, yeah, I can do doubles, so I'm just gonna do doubles. But then you see this one child, let's say, because I've seen this personally, like firsthand as a teacher, this kid just working on their singles. They might be able to do a double, but for 1 month they worked on their single. When they went to their double turns, let's say they challenged themselves the next month to do double turns, their single and their double turns both look amazing. And I think that this is where we want to be right now, which is it's okay to be working like this. You know, it's not that you're not pushing yourself, it's just that you're setting specific things not to confuse yourself on what to work on, and that will also give your body like the proper placement, the chance to also work on positioning or not rushing yourself into things. I feel like this pandemic has taught me most of all that it's okay to slow down certain things. And yeah, my kids say they feel stronger. I feel like they got stronger. So I think that it's very important to do it like this and to just not stop. It doesn't matter how slow you go. That's one of my favorite quotes, as long as you don't stop. And again, in a world that's kind of always on the fast-moving side, you know, what I learned in this pandemic is that it's okay to be moving a little slower than the usual. Like, what are we rushing into, or what are we chasing after? You know, like, there's so many different paths into life. I mean, if you're not going to be a dancer, at least get your technique good and clean, and let's just work on it. So anyway, so keep them small, keep them short, especially for the short-term goals. And then for the long-term goals, maybe you can aim for something like a recital, perhaps. For example, my school, we have recitals even online, so I kind of set them as the big goals for my kids, and some of them do competitions, so it's something that they can look forward to and they can probably get confidence into and all of that. Okay, and speaking about how to set goals, I'm going to write them down here, which is I like to ask them to separate their goals into 3 different categories. And these are your personal goals, second is your mental goals, and third one is your physical goals. So usually I ask them to write them down in 3 different columns. This is so important for me because you know how sometimes you just write down your goals. I want to do this, I want to do that. And then you forget about the other mental aspects of it, which is like, but I'm not going to get up early in the morning to do this. And then all of this, suddenly you have all these different things you have to work on. That's not really physical, but more mental. So I like to give physical, mental, and also personal goals. So I'm going to explain all 3, but for the personal goals, I like them to just tell themselves like what they feel like the other things they want to work on that don't relate to ballet, but contribute to being able to help them dance well. For example, for me, I'm going to give myself as an example. I actually wanted to learn to play the piano for so long. I gave myself a personal goal this year to learn how to play the piano. I actually did, and then that kind of boosted my morning energy to kind of be able to work for my classes, because it's like, oh, I did my piano lessons, now I'm gonna go to ballet. It just gave me an extra boost. Also fixing my diet, fixing my walking schedule, things like this are personal goals that help contribute you to also keep on going for your ballet. I'm sure you have a lot of those things, you know. Probably you want to play with your dog more, or I don't know, something that helps you motivate yourself also to dance. I don't believe that you can just get that out of ballet and watching ballet and living and breathing ballet. Although I do, I save that time for another time. So there, personal goals. Mental goals come from, I tell my kids to rate their confidence. This I always say. I tell them to rate how they feel today. I also tell them to write down what their emotion was today. This is so important for me because you'll see a trend in your emotions when you know what you did that day. And that's something I want to teach my kids, and something I really think they benefited from this year, which is I tell them, look, sometimes there are days like this, there are days like that, and it's okay to feel bad, it's okay to feel good, but you have to also try to analyze why you're feeling like this, why you're like this, and it helped them move forward. I want them to move forward, and that's always the goal, right? So it's okay to take setbacks like this and to stop and to take breaks and breathers, but you also want to be able to push forward, or else you'll just keep on stuck back there. So anyway, so moving on, the third aspect that I asked them to write about is on their physical habits. So for this one, their physical goals, this now is your ballet. So for this part, I actually asked them for a morning routine and an evening routine for ballet, since you guys want to be good dancers. Morning routine, evening routine, and I tell them to make their own pre-class routine. So that's like their homework. You can make your own. I give them examples of what they can do, and then they just kind of feel themselves. And I think it helps a lot that you do that, and then you help them also, because you can see what they're doing, and then you can tell them, I don't think this is going to work out for you, why don't you try this? And that's very, very important to talk to your teacher also about it. So I would suggest doing that as well. If you're going to have physical goals, make a morning start with a morning routine, an evening routine, and a pre-class routine that might include things like rolling and other things that you would want to do before class that help you limber up to your class. With that being said, now that we've talked about the goals and we can put that aside, I'm going to talk about scheduling. I'm gonna show you guys my schedule, and it's not pretty. I don't write it down in a nice paper like everyone. I actually have it down in an envelope. This is so embarrassing, but this is like my schedule. Do you see it has Monday to Sunday? I use every piece of scrap paper that I have in my room, and this was a piece of scrap envelope that I wrote on. Anyways, so I have everything down from emails to Pilates class. I write every single thing I'm going to do in a day. So I'm probably just gonna insert a picture here on the side, but I'm gonna read it for you guys. Like for example, my Mondays go emails at 9 a.m. Emails at 7 a.m., Pilates at 9 a.m. I do my work updates at 10 to 12. 12 to 1 is rest, meaning I can do whatever I want. I can watch Netflix, I can watch ballet, I can do whatever I want. 1 to 3 is when I do my video editing or meetings on that, and then I film videos. 3 to 6, I work on the studio. And then 6 to 7, take a walk with my dog. So every single thing that I do in a day, I write. I like to give time frames for things just so that if I'm done with that thing, or let's say I finished early, I feel like I have free time to do other things. And I think that that helps with a lot of things. I told my kids to kind of try to make something like this. I know that I'm pretty extra about it, that I do scheduling. I taught this also to my sister. It's not working as well because she really is so attached to her cell phone, but I feel like cutting down internet time really helps so much. A lot of people say that I'm always online, but one thing's for sure, I'm only online at the time it says on my schedule. So I have that where it says dance and work updates 10 to 12, which is typically around the time, that I like to post a lot of my posts. And if you notice, I do only posts on specific times. You just think that I'm online all day because you saw the post probably in that time. But I make sure to spread it around the day sometimes. So they're my video and filming time, my 1 to 3. So that makes you feel like maybe I'm around all day, but I really am not because I'm teaching a lot of times. And you ask me how I do it. This is how I do it. my scheduling, my goal setting, and everything. I do this for my studio as well. I do this for my kids. I hope it does help you if you are watching and you feel like you're confused as to where to start. I feel like scheduling is such a good way to start, and goal setting in the order that I told you. So again, always set goals in your personal, mental, and your physical separately. Never bunch them up together. I say this because I remember one of the kids feeling really sad before, and I said, I think we need to work more on your confidence, not necessarily your technique anymore. You have amazing technique. I mean, there's so many dancers like this, but it's more of they're just lacking the confidence to show a little more. But the technique and everything is there, so it's so frustrating as a teacher. So I really came up with this so that they can also boost their morale and their confidence in this pandemic. Especially in unsure times, the best thing to look forward to is to something that maybe will not happen or will happen. Take it as a surprise. So those are my tips. I also have a tip for you guys. I know Corps de Ballet has a DBA mental training coach. It's called Dream, Believe, and Achieve Mental Training Coach, and I watched a few episodes on it. It's really great. They talk about how you can also motivate yourself during the pandemic, and it's up on their website. You guys can check it out. I'm gonna leave the link down below, and I hope that this helps you also continue on in the pandemic. Remember that I know goal setting might sound so boring, but it is so important, especially that we're entering a new year, and it's another uncertain new year from home. But what's amazing again is that we can continue to work and dance from home. So keep on going, keep on dancing, and stay updated. Let me know what else you'd love to hear on this channel. I'm so glad that you guys are enjoying our videos. As you know, I'm updating so much stuff slowly and surely, but I hope you're enjoying these updates, and I'll see you till our next vlog. Thanks everyone. Bye.